Sirui was killing it with their 85mm F1.4 full-frame lens back in November last year, one of the smallest and lightest in its class. Almost 1 year later, they're releasing their second full-frame autofocus Aurora lineup lens, this time the 35mm F1.4. Also a perfect portrait photography prime with large aperture, super compact for F1.4, and let me let you in on a secret. Sharp as hell, but with a caveat. Let me explain.
The wind cannot be tamed, has a mind all of its own.
First, it's almost an exact copy of the 85mm in its build, however it does feel that Sirui has taken their time to even further improve the build quality. So, while previously there were few imperfections such as rings having a tiny wiggle room, now everything feels rock solid. And there's more. Well done, Sirui. Lens is also extremely feature rich. I mean, it has everything one needs, starting from rubber gasket on the bottom, a USB-C port for firmware updates, with a clicked and declicked aperture ring which is so nice and tactile, as well as the smooth focusing ring if manual focusing is your thing. You get the AF/MF switch, a custom button and an iris lock switch. And by the way, it's not only the visible rubber gasket on the end, Sirui claims to have rubber gaskets on all the rings and buttons, making it dust-proof, dirt-resistant due to the coating on the glass in the front element, as well as raindrop-resistant. What's different from the 85mm lens is also the lens hood. Now it features a release button, definitely a welcome addition. Front of the lens features a 62mm filter thread and a 35cm closest focusing distance. In comparison, Sony 35mm f1.4 G master lens can focus at 25cm. Another thing I noticed on their website is that Sirui now gives 3-year replacement lifetime warranty. Let's break it down. What does it mean? So basically that means you get a free replacement within 3 years for non-human damage, while lifetime warranty means there is a paid repair service available for human-caused damage for a lifetime. This definitely speaks volumes on how serious Sirui is to come out as a high-quality lens manufacturer. If you've seen my videos before, you will know that I love to take the lens out on adventures doing real-life tests instead of just, focus charts and card decks. I had the lovely model Luana to do an outdoor photo shoot with me, and honestly, I absolutely loved how the lens performed, how it felt physically, and how nice the shots came out. And due to its size, it felt very balanced and super easy to handheld shoot the few hours we were out. And the 35mm focal length is just so ideal for portrait photography because of a couple of reasons. First, it's like true to eye and things won't look too distorted or weird. Second, it's super versatile focal length. As you can see from these many examples, I was able to achieve totally different looks. So I stepped away from Luana to get those full body shots to show not only her but also the surrounding environment. But it was also very easy to get real close to her, meaning you feel I'm in her personal space almost, where she can easily reach the lens, and this can be great if you want to capture emotions. I'm close, yet image is not distorted. But where I think this lens really shines is those half-body shots. Model is still the main subject, but you see a lot of the environment, and those kind of images immediately tells the story. And by the way, we found this amazing defender in the dunes right next to the ocean, and with the setting sun, that color combination of the car and Luana's outfit was just too good to be true. So I think we got some really amazing shots here. I'll share some more photos at the end of the video, so stick around. But if you want to pixel peep, let's do it with these nature shots. So I tested the lens in various conditions, and I can tell you that the center sharpness of this lens is absolutely amazing, no matter if you go 100 or 200%. At f1.4, this is 100%, everything looks fine. You just do have a tiny bit of chromatic aberration in some out of focus areas, but it's very, very tiny. I did the test also of the wall, and I can tell you that no matter the focal length, the center is absolutely tack sharp. This is f8, this is 2.8, we see it here, really nice, and even at f1.4 is nice and sharp. Where the lens lacks a little bit of sharpness is the very extreme corners. This is 2.8, and if we switch to 1.4, you can see that it gets a little bit mushy here, and of course a little bit of vignetting, but that's not a problem. We'll be able to correct that with the lens profile. I did a couple of other shots at f1.4, and I think it comes out super beautifully. These two images was to see how the lens controls the light, and I think there's no faults at all. There's a super bright sun behind, and the lens just performed absolutely amazingly. And in these shots with the sun in the background, you can see how well defined everything is, all the cables, and there's some birds in the background and whatnot. I think it is phenomenal performance. I did notice some chromatic aberration here, but I believe it will be easy to correct. And when it comes to the lens flare, I mean, this was the worst shot of all, so that's why I picked it. It's a tiny bit of a blob here, and then you also have a bit of chromatic aberration, but again, this was the worst one. And then when it comes to the blurry background and the bokeh, I think it looks absolutely amazing. And yeah, I just love how the images look and how well the lens performs given the price point. You know, I dislike STM focus motors as they feel outdated and not fitting the high-end feature-rich lenses like these. However, there are actually two benefits to use them. First, it keeps the lens price down, that's number one, and second, also the size is smaller for these lenses. You know, Viltrox 85mm F1.4 is much bigger than Sirui, and also the newly announced 50mm F1.4 is a bit chunky, and probably their 35mm will be bigger than this one. And it's all due to Viltrox using the dual VCM motors, which are superior, but also makes the lens a little bit more expensive and bigger. But does this STM perform poorly? Well, you tell me from what you see. Usually the STMs are a hit or miss. With the overall quality improvement Sirui has done, my experience was positive. And I also think, but just can't justify, that the firmware plays a crucial role in autofocus performance. So please always keep an eye on the newest updates. All in all, while I didn't do a dog running towards a camera test, I did not experience any issues with it, so I'm pretty confident while being STM, it will behave properly. We also did a quick video test. I was shooting with the Sony a7 IV mounted on DJI RS4, and since we did 4K 60, remember the image is cropped. Nevertheless, I think it came out really nice. I love the bokeh in the background. Autofocus was performing perfectly, and you know, the small size of the lens on the mirrorless camera body is just a breeze to be mounted on the gimbal, and the lens weighs less than half a kilogram, so definitely can be a killer video setup, also due to the focal length, which is just so versatile both for photos and videos, cropped or not. There are a lot of 1.8 and also featureless 35mm f1.4 lenses such as Samyang's running for only $429, but until Viltrox comes out with their 35mm f1.4 Pro lens, the real competition currently is the Sigma DGDN 35mm f1.4 that costs double, and the Sony's 35mm f1.4 G Master that costs triple of the Suri's lens. So, is it worth it? Well, for the $550, I think it's definitely worth it with all the bells and whistles it has. Let me know if I forgot some lens here, and I see you down in the comments discussing if it's your next lens or not. In the meantime, as promised, I will leave you with more photo examples. Thanks for watching and keep on creating.
Scrolling on my phone, mind gets caught, lying to myself. I'm greener grass, dream another life, one that's not so